How to survive on a desert island. Far from just Hollywood fantasy, people have been stranded on desert islands with some living to tell the tale. The idea of having to survive on a desert island after a boat or plane crash seems like something consigned to the pages of Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe or the scenes in Cast Away featuring Tom Hanks desperately breaking coconuts for water after the cargo plane he was on crashed in the South Pacific. If you find yourself on a desert island after surviving a boat or plane crash, chances are you would actively fight for your survival as your instinct for staying alive kicks in. In this article, we aim to share a few useful tips on what you can do to keep yourself fed and safe before help arrives. Own your emotions, be in a state of shock and panic. But amid fear and helplessness, it is important to remain calm and controlled. Keeping it together will increase your chance of survival. Help others. Look for other survivors and help as much as you can if they are injured. For cuts, control bleeding by using clothes or rags to make pressure bandages. If a person has suffered a broken limb, find a hard object, like a solid piece of wood, as a split to stabilize the bone and use clothes or a belt to stop it from moving at all. Salvage from the wreckage. If there is wreckage, salvage as many items as you can as there are potential uses later. For examples, blankets and plastic sheets can be used to construct a shelter, bottles or containers for carrying food and water. Most importantly, look for something that can help you start a fire. Find fresh water. Dehydration can kill in as little as 3 days. Start tracking inland to find a river or a lake, and plants are often a good signifier of a freshwater source being nearby. If you can't see anything above the surface, try digging around the area. Collecting rainwater is also a smart move. If you were on an island mostly devoid of plant life, get busy and start making a solar still that can turn salt water into distilled water. Check out the link on how to make a solar still under this video. Build a shelter. The next essential task is building a shelter. It gives you respite from harsh elements, such as extreme sun or rainstorms. A lean-to shelter is simple and practical. To make this, place a sturdy and long branch in between two trees or other natural structures that can support your shelter, but avoid coconut trees as you don't want coconuts to fall onto you. Place smaller branches at a 45-degree angle as the basis for your roof. Bolster this roof by covering these sticks with smaller branches, leaves and foliage. Grass and leaves can be used for your bedding. If it is possible, consider elevating your sleeping area to minimize the risk of insect or snake bites. Start a fire. After you've dealt with water and shelter, it's time for another essential, fire. This not only keeps you warm but can help you boil water, cook food and scare off snakes and other predators while you sleep. If you are without any matches, gather dry leaves, small branches, tinder, anything that is easily flammable. Now take a long piece of wood and try and make an indent or groove in it lengthwise, such as with a stone. Find a thinner hardwood stick and sharpen the end. Rub the sharp end of the hardwood stick against the groove by running it back along the groove. The idea is to create friction and cause the particles of wood between the stick and the groove to smolder, so try and do it as fast and as vigorously as you can. Once the wood particles in the groove start smoldering, bunch them up with a stick and pour them onto the other dry material you have and blow gently to encourage the embers to glow and set the material alight. When the fire is properly alight, place larger pieces of wood into it to keep it going. Find food. Finding food on a desert island is usually fairly straightforward: fish and shellfish in the ocean, crabs in tidal pools, seaweed on the beach, as well as fruits and vegetables inland. To catch fish, you would probably need to create a fishing net or a spear from items you can find on the island or salvage from the wreckage. Get attention. In this day and age, it is highly likely that someone knows you are missing and will have alerted the authorities. Search planes, boats, helicopters might have been deployed to try and find you. Use all the resources that you have on the desert island to create messages that will attract rescuers. Use rocks or pieces of wood to spell out messages such as "help" or "SOS" on the beach. Make the letters big so they are clear to anyone passing. Smoke can attract attention too. You can produce a lot of smoke if you burn damp wood. Keep yourself sane. In the movie Castaway, Tom Hanks played Chuck, the lone survivor after the cargo plane he was on crashed into the Pacific Ocean. He escaped in an inflatable life raft and was washed up on a deserted island. After searching for water, food and shelter, he attempted to make a fire and suffered a deep cut on his hand during the process. In anger, Chuck threw several objects including a volleyball from one of the packages that had been washed ashore. The volleyball bore his bloody handprint and later, Chuck drew a face on the handprint. He named it Wilson and began talking to it. While the movie didn't explicitly say that Wilson helped to keep Chuck sane, it was clear to viewers that the regular conversations and arguments Chuck had with Wilson kept him alert and clear-minded. Check out the link of trailer of Castaway under the video. If you are the sole survivor of a crash or shipwreck on a desert island, keep yourself mentally healthy by talking to an object like Chuck. You can also choose to stay active, find a pet, keep your focus on a higher being and view what you are going through as a test. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all new